Hello everyone. Today's video is part Headmaster's Assembly to our pupils and part message to parents. I'm recording this myself for the first time in my office, so kind of what could possibly go wrong. Anyway, here goes. Each morning I've been walking across the school playing fields to my office. It doesn't feel right that none of you are here, and I miss not being able to say good morning. I miss not being able to tell those boys to tuck their shirt in, or girls to unroll their kilts, or boys to put their jackets on. I bet you miss that as well. Actually, I miss not being able to touch base with our pupils on the ground to find out how things are. Anyway, as I stroll across the field to this largely empty school at the moment, I tend to have my earphones in as I listen to a daily message on an app called Pray As You Go. It's about 10 minutes long each morning. Some music, some scripture, some reflective commentary. I commend it to you. One of the readings this week was the well-known passage in scripture in John's Gospel, where Jesus uses the analogy of grapes growing on a vine to illustrate how he wants people to stay connected with him. And he says, I am the vine, you are the branches. Just as no branch can bear fruit by itself unless it remains in the vine, neither can you bear fruit unless you remain in me. And I thought about this idea of staying connected and how it applies in other areas. I've been so impressed by the way you have engaged in our remote learning program, staying connected with your teachers, staying connected with each other, even though not physically. Talking to your teachers, it's clear that great progress is made. If you like, by staying connected with your teachers as they guide you in your learning, combined with your independent learning efforts, you're producing much fruit. Interestingly, I've heard from some teachers that through your collective efforts, they're actually further ahead than they would normally expect to be. So really well done to you all. I feel a great sense of gratitude to so many different people at this time. As a consequence, I've been saying a lot of thank yous. The support we've had from parents and pupils as we've navigated our way of working has been really helpful and constructive. It's allowed us to respond real time, making adaptations to the remote working model. And it's been a great source of confidence to our teachers, actually, to get your feedback about how our pupils have been getting on at home. So thank you. I know that staying engaged has been more of a struggle for some of you than others. You struggled with lack of support that you would normally get from your teachers. Don't worry. Don't lose heart, just keep doing your best and ask for help if you need it. The good news is that we've started to get some guidance from the government about the pathway to reopening, and we're going to be doing that as soon and as safely as we can. We spent a good deal of time this week interpreting those guidelines, which are starting to come out from central government about the reopening. Sadly, what is clear is that we're not going to be able to open in a way that remotely resembles our normal environment or mode of working. We're going to need to continue with our remote learning, teaching and learning for some time. For senior schools, the government guidance is focused on planning to give some face-to-face time with teachers before the end of term to students in years 10 and 12. That's our fourth year and lower sixth. Not in a way that sees a full return to timetables, but rather, in their words, to supplement pupils' remote education. And we've got a team working on a plan, which I think we'll probably look to implement from Monday, the 15th of June, if that's allowed, after the planned online assessment week for fourth year and lower sixth, which is to take place in the preceding week. There are really three principles that are guiding us as we create and finalize our plan to reopen. The one is obviously first, the health and safety of our pupils, our staff, and our whole community. The second principle is really about building confidence in our pupils and supporting the reintroduction to social contact. It's going to be strange coming back, and we want to make sure we get that right. And thirdly, however we do this, our commitment is to continue to deliver a really high quality education to all of our pupils. The guidance at this stage offers very little in respect of the potential reopening of our boarding houses, and we're hopeful that this is going to be considered when further guidance is issued. One of the serendipitous outcomes of this lockdown has been the ability to offer a really fantastic enrichment program to our 5th year and upper 6 students. We've actually been blown away by the levels of engagement from the vast majority of you at a time really when you'd normally be going off on study leave. And I've also been reminded, if I needed it, just what a talented bunch of teachers we have. For the 5th years, this is giving you a real head start with your A-level programs, getting to know the teachers who will be guiding you next year and indeed writing your UCAS references and developing some really important skills that are going to make a big difference as you negotiate the step up to further education next year. As regards the upper 6th, I was rather jealous talking to my head girl and head boy and their 2 deputies in our weekly virtual breakfast yesterday morning. Georgia and her language class are all researching and presenting on a different world language that they've been looking into. Alex has entered an economics essay competition, writing on the topic of the impact of environmental policy on economic growth. Ollie is bringing some of his biology skills to bear on the real world issue of the coronavirus. Lily, who didn't even study economics at A-level, has taken it up and is now working through the AS material. So just a great amount of stuff going on. So thank you for being so engaged. I know the situation is difficult, but as they say, when the going gets tough, the tough get going. So thank you all for toughing it out and for making the very best of our current situation. I hope you all have a cracking weekend. Thanks.